Here in Indianapolis is a pretty formidable landmark, but the folks coming up from Alabama really don't have to look at the Capitol building to know they're not in the Deep South anymore. All they have to do is look at the ground. Us folks in Alabama usually don't have the opportunity to play with snowballs. This is the setting Auburn fans saw as they drove across Indiana today. Some were quick to point out, though, it's not like Indianapolis is some sort of disaster area.
Now, Kevin, I've seen snow before. You have too. It's just a little bit more of it here than anywhere else.
That's kind of what the other members of the Auburn entourage felt. This is definitely a different part of the world.
Well, it's the first time we've seen snow this year. Everywhere we've been that's down south that hadn't been snowy.
You know, have cold weather, kind of get your juices flowing again.
You also have to have a lot of precautionary matters, explain to them that, hey, it is slippery outside and there is snow.
So we walk out and it's freezing, there's snow everywhere, you see the snow plows blowing snow off the runway, so it was quite a sight. The players, they were pretty excited to see it.
How the weekend turns out for Auburn fans remains to be seen, but this much is for sure. The conditions up here are positively not Alabama. With the Tigers at the NCAA tournament, Kevin Long, WAKA Eyewitness News, Indianapolis.
It's a send-off the ancient Greeks couldn't top. When the folks at Auburn send their guys into battle, they do it with style. It's called the Tiger Walk, and it starts several hours before kickoff. Fans form a massive double line the players will walk through. The line extends from Sewell Hall, where the players live, to Jordan-Hare Stadium, where the players earn their keep. For emotional sustenance, there's nothing like it.
I mean, when we have a great Tiger Walk, it seems to be that we have a great game so far this year.
The athletic department doesn't keep any statistics on correlations between a good Tiger Walk and a good performance, but the people running the show will tell you there's no such thing as a bad Tiger Walk.
Oh, it is definitely the time of the day where you get to see the true spirit of Auburn.
The cheerleaders get the festivities started. They march from the stadium to the dorm and meet the team. Then they lead the Tigers back through the crowd. This involves thousands of people and unlimited megawatts of energy.
And then on the way back, they get to interact with the players, and it's just it's a good pump me up for the players.
Everybody's got signs from their hometown players, the players they know, and everything they do. And everybody really gets excited about the Tiger Walk.
It's about a quarter-of-a-mile walk. By the time the players make their way past the band and onto the locker room, most feel like Ulysses, having listened to the sirens sing and lived to tell about it.
That's just a great feeling. You know, I've never seen anything like it.
If we could play the game that instant we get done with the Tiger Walk, you know, it'd be an awesome feeling.
The game will start soon enough, but no matter how good it is, it won't be better than the Tiger Walk. At Auburn, Kevin Long, TV8 Sports. Until now, all a woman could get out of college basketball was the prestige of wearing a varsity letter jacket into the malt shop. But that's all changing. Take Montgomery's Merlakia Jones. Just don't try to take her one-on-one. Jones was an all-SEC player at Florida. Before, the only way she could make a living in basketball was to coach it. Now, she'll make a bunch of money as a member of the Cleveland Rockers of the new WNBA.
You're making a great deal of money, but, I mean, they really don't want you to really talk about it. So I'm not going to, go into it, but I can tell you it's enough that you can make a good living off of it.
So there's money available to the ladies now, and while Jones probably won't compare herself to Susan B. Anthony or Elizabeth Cady Stanton, she, as well as her comrades in this project, are definitely pioneers. They're giving women options they've never had before.
And also it's a great opportunity for young girls, I guess, growing up, having something to reach for.
But I knew if the chance came available, I knew she would make it.
Miss Jones made a reputation for herself in the SEC by running her opponents into the ground. She's going to try to do the same in the WNBA, and from what we can tell, she's pretty good at it. At Carver High School, Kevin Long, TV8 Sports.
WAKA's Kevin Long is live tonight from Indianapolis. The Tigers tangle with the Cowboys tomorrow. Kevin, what did Auburn do today on their off day?
Well, in terms of physical exertion, mostly nothing. They kept the guys quarantined pretty good. They kept them in the hotel looking at videotape of Oklahoma State. I'm sure they watched a bit of the NCAA basketball tournament on CBS. They also got out here to the RCA Dome for a light workout. But as I said, in terms of physical exertion, they tried to get the guys as rested up as possible.
What kind of respect are they getting there in Indianapolis?
Brian, for the most part, not a whole lot. Now, I'm not going to say they're not getting any respect, but most of the people I talk with who cover athletics in the Big Ten, the Pac-10, the Big East, they regard Auburn as a good basketball team, which has played kind of a non-competitive schedule. Now, they're not saying Auburn doesn't have the ability to get to the Final Four. They just don't think Auburn's proved anything yet. Of course, the nice thing about the big dance, if you have the ability to prove yourself, you're going to get that opportunity, and Auburn is going to get that opportunity tomorrow against Oklahoma State.
Kevin, thanks, good big guy. And hey, we're looking forward to hearing from you tomorrow night after that Auburn-Oklahoma State ball game.
Okay, we'll look forward to getting back to Montgomery, too, because it's kind of cold here.
I bet.
Barry, just very, very quickly, if there's a problem with Curtis Keaton's health, I can promise you they're keeping it top secret from me, because I asked both Curtis himself and the trainer if there's any problem whatsoever, and they both said no, he'll be back, he'll be ready to go. So we'll see what happens.
Thanks for the legwork there, Kevin.
Barry, I don't think desperate is too strong a word for the position James Madison's in right now. I asked the trainer how the quarterback is. They've got Paquette leaned up against an ice pack. It appears to be an injury to his neck, and they're telling me they have no idea if he'll be able to go or not. On the other sideline, I listened to the Troy State defensive unit. They know the vulnerability that James Madison is facing right now, and they feel they have to immediately take advantage of this. Barry.
That's a good point. Game. Kevin Long is on the sidelines.
Barry, in answer to a question you and Coach had earlier, does Mike Turk do any coaching of Al Lucas in the backfield? The answer is no. Al said they don't coach him on technique, style, anything. They just tell him to take the ball and run with it. Barry.
I have had some neighbors I'd like to take a tranquilizer gun to.
We'll get to that in a moment.
Needs more towers. And how about you? How much did you get?
I'll tell you what, I'm going to call my parents and tell them, kids down here get $50 a week, and I want to play some catch-up ball now, because I can't remember getting anything.
I bet those guys at the Blue Gray don't even get a $50 stipend for the
well, not unless they want to be hearing from the folks at the NCAA.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't.
Or Notre Dame.
They're still out there practicing. They're ready to get underway and get a football game going. We're going to tell you about that, as well as the rest of the day in sports when we return. Welcome back, everyone. The Tide trying to put an exclamation point on what has been a great season. Finish the job, or as Napoleon put it, if you start to take Vienna, take Vienna. The beach was active today in Miami. In South Florida, it's always that way, and that's the problem. If you don't concentrate on the task at hand, you might be in a bit of trouble in Miami, because as any Don Johnson fan will tell you, Miami has all sorts of distractions, but the Tide is kind of pleased.
Well, it's gone well. I think the first couple of days we were kind of slow home down.
Last time Alabama played in a bowl, it was an abominable disaster, but there may have been some reasons for this. One, Virginia Tech was a heck of a football team, but two, and this is something Alabama can't really address without coming across like a bunch of complete egomaniacs, for Bama to get a chance to play in the Music City Bowl, that'd be about like an actor of the magnitude of Tom Hanks getting the opportunity to perform at the Dothan City Playhouse. Bama was totally uninterested last year, and it really showed. That's not the case this year.
I don't know how you say this, but an Alabama team really want to say that.
The big question is still Chris Samuel's knee, and today after practice, the big question remained his knee.
It's swollen just a little bit. The swelling's went. Let's see what happens.
And here's an interesting addendum to this matchup. Hail to the Victors is a heck of a song. Wolverine football has been a heck of a football factory over the years, but Michigan coach Lloyd Carr has let it be known he regards Bama football as the ultimate dynasty, right up there with the Roman Empire and the Third Reich. He has studied Alabama from top to bottom his entire career, and he was asked if all the books he's read, all the films he's watched on the subject will be of any help on Saturday.
And life doesn't mean that you're going to win.
Translation, Carr knows, regardless of what he was able to pick up over the years from watching Bill Oliver's defense or Mal Moore's option offense, the Wolverines are still going to have to run, block, and tackle on Saturday night. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Auburn was hardly impressive, but the team Sports Illustrated, ranked as the best in the land, did find a way to win once again tonight.
We've heard it.
Yeah, okay, you've heard it also. Quit saying it then. Southern Miss just kept hanging around, Paul. Couldn't get rid of them. Auburn up 3. Down the home stretch, Chris Porter with the steal. Open court in front of him. Damian Fishback was trailing, and Damian gets the bucket. It's 48-43 Auburn. Earl Flowers was something in the clutch. He fires from 3. He nails the jumper. That
pull Southern Miss back in it again. Auburn is only up 48-46. A little later on, Flowers with the drive. Auburn now only leads by 3 points. The Tigers in a nally fight for sure. This opponent just won't die. The Tigers set up the offense inside to Mamadou N'Jive. The jump hook will work, and Auburn met a worthy opponent tonight, and Auburn just does get by 56-50. Alabama picks up a win over North Carolina Wilmington. Troy State goes into Orlando and picks up a win over Central Florida. And scoring out on your screen, Buena Vista picks up a win over Huntington. Women's score, it's Auburn picking up a win over Coppin State. High school basketball tonight. This is action from the Blue-Gray tournament over at Lanier. A full house on hand, a bunch of outstanding talent on the court. Lanier in Central Tuscaloosa. Lanier goes inside to 6'8" Marco Killingsworth, and Marco, some points in the pivot there. On the Central end, it's Joseph Eatman going to move right and fire. His runner's going to hit the bottom of the net right there. Watch Lanier's Donnell Taylor hit the afterburners. Donnell with a quick step. It will go, and he is going to that free throw line. The Poets on offense once again. This time it's Donnell Taylor from the garage down the block. He drains it. Lanier wins 52-47. Girls basketball, the finals of the Capital C Conference Tournament were held this evening. This is St. James taking on Calhoun. St. James works the perimeter, and they feed in the paint. Lindsey Mann goes to work. Now, we didn't get a final on this game, but I can tell you that Mississippi State beat Clemson, so the SEC is now 1-1.